Hey all, here OS Reviews. Today we're taking a quick look at the AOHi modular USB sync and charging cables. So these are kind of a unique idea in that oftentimes if we want a smaller cable, such as plugging into a power bank that we're holding in our hands when on the go, versus say if you're charging at home and you're plugging it into the wall, you would want a longer length. So you would often have to purchase two separate cables to bring along with you, which can add up in terms of cost and also not quite as eco-friendly, versus this particular model allows you to actually extend the cable length using this one set. And it's a pretty simple snap and go solution that can be locked in to place once you are on the go. So more specifically, it ranges from 4 inches to 102 inches in terms of the distance that you can customize, and it claims to be super robust in terms of the resistance, supporting again a high 240 watts for charging, and you can use it for multiple types of devices with plugs on here supporting lightning as well as USB Type-C, nylon braided to last up to 30,000 bends and supporting up to 80 kilograms of weight. It's a very neat idea and also has a very well presented color scheme. With that being said, for this first generation unit, it is a little on the pricier side. In fact, this entire kit that we see here will sell for around $90, which hopefully if it becomes successful in the future, when they bring out a next generation model, the cost of production can go down and it might be even more affordable. The packaging here, of course, is presented really well. The Future Creative power cable with these black and yellow accents, limited edition, and some of the other specs here on the back. It is very decked out in terms of the custom text and also telling you there's some color accents which will tell you via LEDs how it's doing in terms of the charging state. We have on top just all the cables very well presented. We do have a carrying case, which is this soft silicone, a few images of different modes which are convenient using the different adjustments and lengths. These have also been labeled on the very top. So the default one is this handheld charging mode, only 0.1 meters or 0.33 feet. That includes the two USB Type-C to Type-C as well as Type-C to Lightning. And that is this first cable here right on top. So you can tell this is the shortest length that it can get, ultra compact, and indeed it is very well built out of this super thick nylon fabric material along with a solid aluminum alloy shell. Very robust feeling, and also a LED accent light there that tells you the charging state. So this is going to be the Type-C version. Now, one thing I do wish maybe they could add in the future would be some type of magnet that can snap these cables into place, kind of like a keychain maybe when not in use. That could make them even more versatile. So the other one for iOS via Lightning is located in this box. And they claim this is a MiFi certified cable, which means it's going to be officially recognized by iOS devices. One thing I will say here is I do kind of wish that they made this into just one cable instead of two. For example, if they made the heads also modular so they can snap on different tips, whether it's Type-C, Lightning, or micro USB even, rather than having these as completely separate pieces. Although one benefit is this entire thing might be a little bit more sturdy without as much moving parts. But since they're going for the whole modular extension capability anyways, I think just going all out with the whole modular concept could have been, I think, even cooler, but always something they could consider in a next-gen model. Now to change it into the 3 feet mode, we have the first extension cable, which is located on the side. Definitely a much longer length. This is more suitable if you're trying to maybe stretch it onto a desk, for example. A closer outlet. The build quality is still the same. I can now just plug it into this end, screw everything shut, and then it gets us a very tidy, secure fit. And now we have a 3 feet cable. Then the third extension is going to be a little bit longer, up to 6 feet. That is this one here. They call this a spring cable, which can stretch, and it's suitable for, say, charging in the car, somewhere that's a little bit further away, again, up to 6 feet if you're stretching it completely out, but still works in exactly the same way, which will then look something like this. And then last but not least, the fourth mode, which would be the ultra long mode, up to, again, 8.5 feet. That is connecting both of the extension cables together, which will look something like this. So we have, of course, the original cable, which is now connected to the mid-extension cable, and then also the stretchiest one onto the other end. Gives it almost a steampunk appearance with all of these connectors, but it still feels rather robust. So as a demo, let's plug it into a wall adapter, which, as you can notice, there isn't one that comes included in the box by default. So you have to supply your own or purchase one separately from their site. The charging here will start, and it is supporting fast charging and telling us that it's going to take about an hour or so until reaching 100%, which although it is fast charging, it's actually recognized by the cable as still being a relatively standard speed, since again it can achieve up to 240 watts if you are charging a even more compatible newer phone or a laptop, that is, but we can see the orange light here starting to breathe as the charging is in progress. Now, one thing I will say though is I do wish that light would also be present maybe on the end of the extension cable, since when you're plugging it in, I think this is a spot that's a little bit easier to see. But as it is, they have only included the charging light on the shortest cables, the starting end, but overall it still works well enough. But perhaps something else they could just add in the future, or even some form of more apparent lighting, just to go ahead with the whole futuristic theme. If they made the entire cable, let's say, glow in the dark, somehow a little bit more animated with LEDs, I think it could be even cooler. Still, it's undeniable that the entire cable feels very robust. The process of charging is smooth and just works as you would expect. Everything is tightly connected together. One thing I do really like as well, as far as attention to detail is concerned, is this small lip at the end of the cable, which just makes it a little easier when you're pulling the cable in and out. It just feels a little bit more responsive. You can also try charging something like a laptop, and you can tell that the charging is in progress and also working just fine, really without any problems. So whether it's a MacBook or really any modern day laptop these days using USB Type-C, this cable is able to provide that without any problems. And now, last but not least, I've connected it into the Type-C port of a laptop, and you can see the light here has changed to blue to indicate that we're in the data transfer mode. The device has been recognized, and we're able to now, let's say, drag and drop photos, videos back and forth between the laptop as well as the phone. It's USB 3.0 speeds, so up to 5 gigabits per second in terms of data, which is also really fast and responsive, makes for a pretty versatile setup, and indeed works quite well in terms of just storing these cables away. And you can then pop this into your backpack and nothing gets tangled up quite as easily. So that is more or less it as far as our quick hands-on review of the AOHi cables. They're calling this the Future series, and the concept itself is, I think, quite smart. The only thing which is a little bit prohibitive, I think, is that price point, even though you are technically getting almost 6 cables in one, but still, I'd argue the whole point of modularity is also to bring down costs, as well as being more eco-friendly. And that is the part where hopefully they're able to just make it even more cost-effective in future generations as they become available. You can maybe even pick up additional extension lengths in the future that isn't bundled in this one set. For example, if you want to get another 3 feet extension cable, or even get another 6 feet extension cable, being able to pick and choose. You can check out additional details if you're interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.